guys, welcome to another video. Just an update following on from my last video. I'd mentioned that I'd had some problems with my ram air manifolds. The driver's side was cracked and they were leaking. Well, off the back of that video, a huge thank you to Colin who contacted me. Colin lives in Kent. He's got a 1970 Trans Am as well, a blue one. And he happened to have a brand new set of ram air manifolds, boxed with gaskets and fixings that he had acquired a few years ago. He said there was a little story behind it, but for whatever the reason he'd ended up with two pairs because he needed a set for his. And he kindly sold me those manifolds for what he paid for them all those years ago. So again, thank you Colin, hugely. I did sort of have communication with Colin before the deal with the manifolds. We sort of spoke a bit on text and sent a couple of parts and stuff like that, but yeah, met him for the first time when he brought the manifolds to me. So lovely bloke, very knowledgeable about these cars as well, and it's nice to see someone who's just as obsessed with them as I am. So again, huge thanks to Colin for the manifolds. I had the car into Pilgrims again a week or so ago. I've not been too great myself recently, and I did have a go at fitting the manifolds. I got the passenger side one off, but yeah, trying to do it from under the car was a bit of a nightmare. So I put it into Pilgrims, and they've changed the manifolds for me with all the new fixings. At the same time, I had all the exhaust clamps changed. I didn't like the ones that the pipes came with, like the horseshoe style ones. So I've had it all changed to proper band clamps that seal those up better. So yeah, all the manifolds are done, exhaust done, and it just sounds so much better. I mean, even sort of pulling the bonnet, listening to the engine ticking over, it's so much quieter now the manifolds aren't blowing. And just the exhaust note on the car was so much better. Really pleased that I sort of went the manifold route and decided against the headers. The other little jobs I've done, just changing all the gauge lights, the cluster lights in the dash. Some of the bulbs are just not very bright, so I've slowly been changing all of those to LEDs, and I was actually able to do it without taking the dash out. So all dash bulbs now have been changed out to LED bulbs. They're far more brighter now, and you can actually see them. They were pretty dim to start with the old filament style bulbs in. Just to show you a comparison, the AM FM radio, that still hasn't been changed yet. It's got the original filament bulb in it, so you can see the difference. There's obviously a slightly different hint or different tint to the colour now, because they're a white bulb instead of the sort of yellow filament style bulbs, but I like the colour it gives actually, and it's far more defined and easier to see. Done the gear shifter as well, and telltale lights, brake light bulb, that's LED. Indicator lights, they're LEDs now. High beam telltale light in the speedometer there. You can actually read the gauges easier now. I'm really pleased with those. Yeah, it's a new manifold that side. They did have to take the oil filter housing off, which I suspected they did, so I supplied a new gasket for that as well. The original stock manifolds were fitted with 3 bolts either side. It kind of surprises me really, but obviously they deemed them good enough. But these reproduction or remanufactured manifolds, they fit with 4 bolts on this side and 5 bolts on the driver's side, so it's obviously a bit more chance of sealing them up. I had removed the heat riser before I put it in, just to make it easier for them. And what I had to do was just cut slightly the gasket where it runs between the exhaust ports. I just had to cut a bit of the gasket out, just because the heat riser's got like two little plates, two little metal, I don't know what to call them, but the way it slides in up against the manifold and the head. So yeah, I had to cut a piece of the gasket out that just goes between the exhaust ports. Not a big deal. Won't affect the sealing of the gaskets. So this is the original manifold off the driver's side, which was the cracked one. So I don't know if you can see it's cracked right by the fixing stud there, and also you probably can't see in this light, but actually inside there's like a divider plate there. The whole thing is cracked through as well. It's a shame. I'm assuming these are the originals from the factory, so if they are, they certainly haven't done bad to last 54 years. But like I said just now, they only fit with the three fixings. I say they must have deemed it good enough. I suppose by the time it all heats up, it expands and probably gets a better seal. But so yeah, I'm going to keep hold of them for now. I don't know if it's possible to repair, cast iron, weld it or whatever. Quickly lay down on the floor here, see if I can show you the exhaust. So you can see, so all the clamps have all been replaced. I said I'd sort of developed a couple of blows, and you could tell when you started it up in the morning, drip a bit of condensation out of a couple of the joints, so you knew it was blowing. So I wanted that job done as well. I don't know why they don't supply the better clamps really with the kit. You're paying enough for the exhaust, but there we go, here's what it is. Yes, one other issue I'd had this week, when I got the car back from having the manifolds done, the garage kindly had washed the car and cleaned it before I collected it, and must have washed it with a hose. I never hose the car. I'll just kind of clean a panel at a time and chamois it, but what it did flag up was the passenger side door was trapping water. For about a few hours after I got the car back, it just was dripping out the corner, leaving a puddle in the garage. So obviously that was concerning me, with there's that much water sitting in the bottom of the door. So I had to take the door card off, and what I did is I drilled some holes in the bottom of the door, a series of holes along the bottom, dried the door out thoroughly inside. I did give it a good couple of coats of rust converter in the bottom, right in the seam along the inside. It's only just sort of surfacey rust where obviously water's been sitting in there unbeknown to me. It's not something that's just happened just as a result of one wash. It's obviously something that's been there a while that I've been unaware of. So I've coated it, given it a good couple of coats of rust converter, let that all dry out, and then I've filled it up, all the bottom of the door and the door skin inside, with a load of lana guard. So that should hopefully prevent any rust issues in the future. Yeah, so these are a series of holes are drilled along the bottom of the door, just to help if at any point I do get water in the door, it should drain out. And I did paint them as well, each hole bare metal on, that's starting to rust. So some of the jobs I've got planned for the winter, I've probably said in the previous video, a fan shroud, I've got that sat in the garage ready to be changed. So I'll do that at some point when I can get under the car and lay under there. As I've previously said, changing the radiator to the cold case one and the thermostat has made the car run so much cooler now during all the driving, dual carriageway driving, but it's still always in the back of your mind with the classic cars. It's the sitting in traffic during the summer with these mechanical fans. They're only as good as the engine speed, I suppose, at the time. So I've made my mind up that I'm going to put like an auxiliary electric backup fan. I'm going to put it on the front of the radiator, get a pusher fan, and wire it with a relay. I've already made a start with some of the wiring and a toggle switch in the car. I don't want it on a thermostat or anything like that. I just literally want it for traffic, so I can just flick a switch in the car if I'm stuck in traffic, and the electric fan will kick in. But it retains the stock look as much as possible. You won't see the electric fan from there because of this plastic panel. You'll see it through the grills, but again, for me, I think it's one of those things. It's a useful addition to a classic car. So yeah, that's my plan for the winter: is the shroud, electric fan. Another job I'm sort of considering doing is putting an inline electric fuel pump, just to help sort of prime the fuel system when the car's been sat idle for a week or two. When you use the car, if you use it the next day, it literally will start the kit, 2 pumps of the throttle, and it'll start. But once you've left it for sort of 3-4 days or more, you need to crank it to get all the fuel back up. I suppose it just obviously drains back down to the tank. So I'm considering doing that job. I just think, again, it just saves a bit of wear and tear on cranking the engine over for longer than you need to. If you can just flick a switch, 4 or 5 seconds, you've got the fuel up to the carb. I'm pretty confident, as long as there's fuel there, she literally starts on the key. So that's another job to look at, and probably in the new year. But yeah, overall, really pleased with the manifolds. And having those done, the difference it makes to the feel and sound of the car is brilliant. And again, thank you, Colin, for contacting me. It was a pleasure to meet you, and I'm sure we'll meet at some time again in the future with these cars, hopefully at a show or something, or for a cruise, whatever. But no, really pleased. I don't normally get that kind of luck. The prices I was getting from the US. Yeah, Colin did us a blinding deal on the ones he's helped me, so yeah, thanks again. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you again very soon on the next one, and I've got more dates to show you.